This is the only video that you'll ever need to watch about pedaling technique. Do you want to learn to pedal smoother, faster, and more efficiently? Well, this is going to be the perfect video to teach you exactly that. And make sure that you stay along until the end, where we talk about some common mistakes that people sometimes make. Let's dive straight into it. So firstly, why does pedaling technique actually matter? Well, there's a few different things here. The first one I would say is performance. The second one is preventing injury. And then the third one is efficiency. It's important to try and get all three parts all throughout any bike ride. So what is the pedal stroke? The pedal stroke is the circle motion that your leg makes as you're pedaling along here. Now I'm going to try and split this circle into 4 different areas. There's the pushing down, pushing back, pulling up, and then moving your pedal back to the front. There's sort of 4 motions in a pedal stroke. So we're going to talk about how to get the most efficiency out of that pedal stroke. You need to be able to combine all 4 of these to make the most perfect and efficient pedal stroke that you can all throughout the bike ride. The first and most important thing that you need to think about when we're talking about the pedal stroke is seat height. What I'm talking about there is the distance from the pedal up to the saddle. So we're talking from your foot up to your bum, your seat height. We've done a video further back on our YouTube channel. It might have actually been our most viewed and most liked video. So I'll put a link for that over here. Go and check that one out if you want a more in-depth video, but I'll run through it quickly here. As we're pedaling along, we want the distance from the pedal to the saddle, which is where you're gonna be sitting on. We want that to be the perfect length. If it's too high, we'll find it uncomfortable. We'll find our pelvis kind of rocking, which can cause lower back pain. And if we've got it too low, we'll be biased towards particular muscles, because there's 4 main muscle groups in our legs, and we want to be able to spread the load across all 4 of them if we can. So the long and short of finding the correct seat height is, if we were sitting on the bike and we've got our foot on the pedal here, we want to have a little bit of a bend in the knee. This would be too low for me. Ideally, I'd want to be probably up around there. So I might adjust that seat height just so that we can get a little bit closer to it. I'm going to grab a tool so we can do that. Ooh. Here's my tool. This is probably the wrong frame size for me, but we'll see how we go. It's probably pretty damn close actually. I'm happy with that. So now we can see that with my pedal on the bottom of the pedal stroke there, I've got a little bit of a bend in my knee here. It's not completely locked out, it's just got a bit of a bend. Another way that we can try and look at it is with the pedal arm straight down. If you put the heel of your foot onto the pedal arm, now my leg is completely locked out. That means that when I move my foot back here, now I've got that little bit of a bend that we're looking for. There's also a mathematical equation that we can use over measuring the inseam of your leg and then calculating that by a few different numbers, and then you'll come to your seat height as well. But again, if you want more information about seat height, you can check that out in our video further back there. Now that you've got the perfect seat height, we want to start talking about cadence and gear choice. We did a video just recently on our channel as well, all about cadence, talking about what cadence you should be sitting at different points throughout the bike rides. So again, if you want more information, you can check that video out as well. But cadence, if we were to bring it down to something quite simple, it's the equivalent to the RPM or the revs in a car. We're talking about how fast your legs are actually moving. I don't know what cadence I'm sitting at here. I'm gonna guess maybe 90 RPM, 90 cadence. If I was to pedal a little bit faster, now I might be sitting at like 110 cadence or something like that. There's different times throughout the bike ride that we might want to go between the 2 different ones, or even more than that. We've got lots of different cadences we can sit at. So we kind of want to learn how to feel comfortable at different cadences. What you'll find is that as you're pedaling along, if you press a gear, suddenly your legs go a little bit slower, or if you press a couple gears, it's slower again, but I'm still pedaling at the same speed, but my cadence is lower. And then same the other way, if I go to an easier gear, now my legs are going a little bit faster, but I'm still pedaling at the exact same speed. So cadence is a really good skill to get on top of, to be able to learn how to pedal at different cadences. A pretty average rule of thumb that I like to think about when I'm riding is, if I'm on the flat, I want to be sitting at around about 90 cadence, 90 RPM. Whereas if I'm in the hills, because I'm working a little bit harder going up the hill against gravity, I might drop that cadence a little bit, maybe down to 70 or 80. So like a 90 cadence might kind of look like this. It's just nice and comfortable. I'm not sort of rocking like this. It's just a relatively comfortable gear. And then if I was to go up a hill, up a steep hill, that might bring my cadence down to something more like this. And I'm really sort of pushing on the pedals each pedal stroke. So we want to be able to feel comfortable at each different type of cadence And we also understand that we're going to change a little bit all throughout the bike ride, and that's okay. The next thing that we want to do is to be able to learn how to be smooth with our pedal stroke. What I mean there is we don't want to be stomping down and then stomping down. We don't want to be doing it like that. We want to try and keep our feet going just nice and smoothly. So these are flat pedals, and I'm just using sneakers, not clipping pedals. So I really can only push down. That's because I can't really pull back very much, but I'm making sure that I'm balancing between each leg so that it looks quite smooth. I'm not, like that looks a little bit different because I'm putting a lot of power as I'm pushing down. Here, I'm just trying to be a little bit more smooth with it. It would be really good to practice this sort of skill about being smooth along a flat surface. You'll find that as you go up a hill, because you have to put a little bit more effort down, it's a little bit harder to stay consistent. So this is an easier skill to practice on the flat. Hey guys, sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to quickly mention that YouTube sent us a message recently saying that 94% of people watching these videos haven't subscribed yet. So I just wanted to quickly say that we have tens of thousands of dollars worth of value in these videos, and we're giving it all to you for free. So if it is something that you appreciate and you want to help our small business succeed, I'd love it if you could hit that subscribe button down below. Anyway, let's get back to the video. I also want to talk about seated versus standing when we're pedaling. When we're seated, we're able to keep a nice fluent pedal stroke, as in we're not speeding up and slowing down. We're kind of just sitting at a nice, comfortable cadence. Whereas if we were to go to a harder gear and maybe we're riding up a hill, we get to a steep section of hill and we need to stand up to pedal, you'll find that you're pushing down a lot more than you're pulling up, usually when we're doing that, which means it's a very sort of a bumpy pedal stroke, I suppose, because we're putting a lot of power halfway through each pedal stroke. This is really good for a really short period to get up a steep little pinch climb, but if we're going up a nice gradient, we'll often find that it's almost too much pedaling or too much power for a long duration. From my experience, I find that I'm seated throughout my bike ride for 90 or 95% of the bike ride. It's quite rare that I'll find myself standing up unless it's really, really getting hard up a steep section of hill. Also, from my experience, and everybody's body is different, as soon as I stand up, my heart rate goes up by about 10 beats per minute. And 10 beats per minute can be the difference between me blowing up and running out of energy and me just holding enough in the tank to finish the rest of that Strava segment. Another thing that can change your pedaling technique is cleat position. If you had a cleat that was right in the center, it might sit like that, but you could also move the cleat so that it's further back or so that it's further forward. That's going to change a little bit about how you ride your bike. If you were to move the cleat so that it's further forward on your shoe, you'll find that you're using a lot more of your calf muscle. Not a good thing or a bad thing. Some people have strong calves, some people don't. Whereas if you were to move it further back on the shoe, you might find that it's a little bit more stable and you're a little bit more comfortable. Harder to put out quite as much power, but it might be a little bit easier, especially if you're just learning how to use clipping pedals. I know that was a very quick summary, but if you want a more in-depth video, we've done one further back on our YouTube channel about how to transition across to clipping pedals. We talk all about cleat position there, so we dive into it pretty in depth in that video. Go check it out. To give you a visual of what I mean, if you have the ped or the cleat right in the center of the shoe, it might sit like this. If you were to move it further forward, it might bring your foot back like this. Or if you were to move it further back, it might bring your foot further like this. This one is going to help engage more of that calf muscle because we're pushing down on our toes. But if we move it further forward, it's just a lot more comfortable. You can't drop your heel quite as much as if it was in the middle. You could probably drop it a little bit lower. I'm going to say that nothing that I say here will confirm what way you should do it. I think it's good to be able to try it each different way and see what you feel more comfortable with. If you're riding with your toe, it might kind of look a little bit more like this. I can feel my calves and my toe pointing down quite a bit, just naturally. But if I move my feet further forward, first of all, it feels like the seat is too high if I do it like that. And I'm pushing down on the pedals. I can't really pull back on the pedals. I can only push down on the pedals. That's something else that I noticed, but give it a try. Try it forwards, try it backwards. Let me know in the comment section below what you notice on your test ride as well. And now your reward for staying all the way through until the end of this video. As I promised, I'm going to run you through some of the most common mistakes that I see people making. First of all, and we've already spoken about it, is the seat height. If your seat is too high, you might find that your pelvis has to rock from side to side so that you can reach all the way to the bottom of that pedal stroke and then all the way back down on that side. So your pelvis will actually rock a little bit from side to side. Your pelvis is connected to your spine, so if your pelvis is rocking, it means so is your spine. And that's where some of these lower back issues can come in, if it's too high. If it is too low, you might find, don't know if I can sort of show it. No, I won't be able to show it. If your seat height is too low, you'll find that you're using a lot more of your quad muscle and maybe your glutes, but you're not getting to use much of your hamstring or your calf. So you're not getting an efficient pedal stroke. Yes, you can do it. You're not necessarily going to hurt yourself, but instead of using 4 big muscle groups, you're only using 2 of them. Linked with having your seat height too high, I can also talk about cadence. If your cadence is too high and you're pedaling along really quickly, you know, you're pedaling like this. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm bouncing on the saddle a little bit just to stay on top of that pedal stroke because I'm pedaling a little bit too quickly. So if I drop down a couple of gears, now I'm able to sit at a more comfortable cadence, and it just feels more comfortable. I feel safer on the bike. If a car pulled out, I can, you know, grab my brake levers, or if I needed to steer, I can steer, or grab a drink of water, not put my hand into the tire. I can grab a drink of water. It's just a little bit safer at a cadence like this. So yeah, being able to feel comfortable at different cadences is quite good. It's good to be able to sit at a slightly faster cadence, but you also want to be able to just feel comfortable on the bike. So being able to move between different cadences is quite important. And finally, having poor posture or bad knee and hip alignment. For example, if you're pedaling along like, you know, with your feet out to the side, because my knee is coming out to the side of my bike, I'm using a bit of this muscle in here. I don't even know what it's called inside my leg, my groin, I guess. I'm kind of using a little bit of my groin muscle because my legs are coming out to the side like this. Whereas if I was to push only downwards like that, it's going to help prevent any knee pains or joint pains in general. And it's also going to save my hips from getting hurt. So just pushing straight down on the pedals, ideally not having your legs out to the side like this. I can even feel my pelvis twisting from side to side, and I'm twisting on the saddle, which is not very comfortable. Regardless of if you're a guy or a girl, it's not very comfortable. And linked to that is bad posture. If you're riding along with the back curled like this, or maybe the handlebars are too far out and you're uncomfortable like that, that might be something that makes it a little bit harder to put the correct pressure down on the pedals, because you might be compensating by trying to almost take the weight off the saddle and put it onto the pedals, rather than just sitting nice and comfortably in it and letting yourself sort of be one with the bike, I suppose. Thanks for staying around until the end of this video. I hope you learned something, and if you didn't learn anything and you think you knew it all already, let me know in the comment section below. What did I forget to mention? Anyway, also, we release 2 new YouTube videos every single week, so make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you see the next ones that are coming out. Anyway, I'm gonna get back to this training ride, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya.